And that is launched out to deep left field. Big fly for Mike Browne, 1-0 Halos. Ground ball to second base, Red Heaple falls down, picks it up, fires the first. The Angels have no hit. The Seattle Mariners. That is drilled out to left field. The Angels are going to have a 1-0 lead. Anthony Rozelle with a big fly, his third.
Hey guys, I'm Alex Curry.
This is Joe Adele here with the Los Angeles Angels. Brendan Marsh.
This is Chris Rodriguez.
And you're listening to the All Angels Podcast.
What is going on? Welcome to another edition of the All Angels Podcast, and it is opening day. I am joined by Chris, the curator Johnson, obviously, and we are in Halo Haven, and we are also joined by Mike Browne of Big League Chewing Podcast. Mike, Chris, opening day. How you feeling, guys?
I feel so good. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. So super excited. It's opening day for sure.
It's a national holiday, and people are calling me up, congratulating you. It's just kind of a weird experience. So,
yeah, it's definitely a fun day to be had just because the season's finally here, and it's awesome that it's here, and it's 162 games. But we got so much to do before opening pitch at 7:05, so let's get to it right away. So we are doing a giveaway, and if you followed us on Instagram, you know all about this giveaway. So first person in the comments will get a shirt Chris is proudly wearing, Good Vibes Only from Rake Baseball Co. And here's the question. Dylan Bundy gets the opening day start for your Angels today. Jared Weaver has the most opening day starts for the Angels. How many did he have? Now, without saying the answer, if you think it's right, do you, either one of you guys, think you know the answer?
I think so.
Yeah, I have like a ballpark guess, but I don't know it for sure.
So I will tell you that, he had a run of like 4 in a row for a little while, and then they were kind of broken up in a little bit. So we'll see if we get some comments on our Instagram Live. Again, if you know the answer, definitely put a question. We got a couple guesses right now. We got 5. We got 43, which I don't
43.
I don't think that's Albert's making records by having 21 straight opening day starts. I think 43 would be a whole different kind of record. I'm guessing 7, and believe it or not, 7 is the right answer.
Wow.
And there you got it. So wings on our looks like YouTube page. Go ahead and DM us your information either on Instagram or on Twitter. Or even allangelspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get one of these shirts mailed out to you as soon as we can. But don't worry, we got another trivia. We got 2 extra shirts. Again, these are from Rake Baseball Company, so definitely check them out if you like what you see here. They have this color, they have gray, they have like non-team specific stuff. They got hats. They have a lot of great stuff, so definitely check them out. Chris, you've dealt with them before.
Yeah, he sent me a shirt a few years ago, and we're very appreciative of what they do, and it's kind of cool. It's especially during this last year, Good Vibes Only with the peace sign, the halo,
right?
Kind of rock this around town and spread some positivity, especially around the baseball community. And then all of a sudden I saw Mike Trout actually wearing one of these last season pregame. Mm-hmm. So he's getting some traction there, but we appreciate the guys over there. They've been very generous to us.
Yeah, so we've seen them quite a bit, and it's just great for them to reach out to us. So for the second shirt, here's the next question. Angels rookie frame thrower and friend of the podcast, Chris Rodriguez, has a dog. I misspelled it. Has a dog that's been by his side through the whole rehab injury process. And if you read his story, you know exactly what I'm talking about with the back surgeries. What is that dog's name? If you follow him on Instagram, if you follow him, I believe on Twitter too, he posts the dog's name all the time. And as a hint, it is very fitting for a pitcher. So any of you guys have an idea of what that is?
Maybe. I won't say.
You have an idea? Nothing. I mean, Chris is a dog person. He has dogs right outside the door.
But a fitting pitching name.
And once you see it, you'll get, this is a good guess. It's not right, but that's a really good guess. Strike was a really good guess, but that is not it.
Oh, Tommy John. Ooh, too soon.
No,
too soon.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to be a pitcher and I want my dog to be named that. That's for sure. Any other guesses out there? We had a couple. Put them in the comment section. Slider. That's not a bad one, but that's not right. Let's put it this way. If you are a pitcher, you want to become this.
Ace.
Oh
yeah.
I was literally gonna say Southpaw, but then I was like, he's not a lefty. But the whole
one's good though.
The whole paw thing, I was like, oh, maybe Southpaw, but he's not a lefty.
So it looks like Top Mav and Goose got it right. So it looks like George Gutierrez chimed in, got ace as well.
A little bit late, but Top Mav and Goose, again, same thing. DM us either in our Instagram or Twitter, Halo_Haven, or reach out to us at allangelspodcast@gmail.com for your t-shirt. We'll get it all sent out to you. But again, this is from the Rake Baseball Company. They do great stuff. Check them out. And I want to thank them again for taking time out for us. And there's his dog right there. But yeah, thank you guys from Rake. Really appreciate it. It was kind of a surprise thing that we got all these put together in literally the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So that's great. I'm glad we got these people on here. And then we got bad puns in the comment section. That's rough. I guess you can kind of see that coming. But again, thank you everyone for participating. We hope to do more of these kind of giveaways as the season goes, and you know, maybe we get a couple sponsors and have them hand us out some things for you guys. So moving on, again, opening day, again, less than an hour away. Let's talk about this starting lineup. And here it is. Again, these are the starters. We have, going from left to right, we got Anthony Rendon, Rozelle Iglesias, David. I got my new contract, Fletcher. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Albert Pujols making another start. Matt Stassi coming back from injury behind the plate. And then obviously you got Justin Upton, Mike Trout, and Dexter Fowler in the outfield, respectively. Mike, I'm going to ask you first. At the first glance at this starting lineup, what do you think? How do you feel?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. You know, I'm super happy that everyone's healthy. It's kind of, you know, touch wood, but I think it's been a while since we've started a season with kind of the starting lineup kind of intact and healthy. So main takeaway for me is that they're all kind of healthy and ready to go. You know, Lagares kind of made it interesting there at the end of spring. I know he's going to be the fourth outfielder, but I think he could have gave Fowler a little bit of a run for his money in terms of the starting right fielder. But Fowler's obviously Madden's guy, so he gets the nod. But we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, overall, I like it. I'm happy that they're all in the lineup and healthy.
Yeah, exactly. I think health is the biggest thing, that this was kind of your projected starting lineup, starting defense since pretty much the beginning of spring. And for the first time in a long time that I remember, it's actually your opening day defense. How do you feel about the defense that's out there right now, Chris?
Yeah, I think we've heard a lot about this guy, Iglesias, his plays in spring training. And, you know, Simmons being a fan favorite, it was sad to see him go. He's spectacular out there, but Iglesias has more pop in the bat. I think he has more potential and more of an upside than Simmons. And it's just not that household name. It's not that, you know, that Simba kind of thing. And no more Simba's pride. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and if you're going to come up with a fan thing, I appreciate what they did, but you can't just be locked into one player, especially a guy that's not a 10-year contract. But I like what Iglesias has to offer. I think he's kind of overlooked, and I don't think a lot of people knew him on the national level. And it's going to be cool to really see what he does out there. And just looking at like what he did in the short season, we give all this credit to Bauer for putting up, you know, Cy Young numbers in a 60-game season, gets that big contract based off that. But this guy led the league in batting. Right. And so I'm loving that. I'm loving Fletcher and him up the middle, Rendon at third, to see a full season with him, and even Fowler and right. I like it.
So let's talk about that Fletcher deal. Came out 3 hours ago, maybe, about his contract extension. It's a 5-year guaranteed contract with 2 options at the tail end of it. If those 2 options get picked up, you're looking at close to about, what was it, like $80-something million. So obviously very team friendly. Mike, when you saw that contract extension come through, what did you think?
Yeah, it's funny. It's not one of the ones that I had thought the Angels might have pursued in terms of extensions. When I thought of extensions, I thought of like the 3 or 4 pitchers that are going to be free agents at the end of the season. Maybe like Haney would get an extension, or one of these pitchers that's due to be a free agent. Dylan Bundy. So it definitely came out of left field a little bit for me, but it makes all the sense in the world. As you said, it's a very team friendly deal. He's a great kind of cornerstone piece to this team now, and has been for the last year and a half or so. So, yeah, I love the price. I love the player. And yeah, super excited to have Fletcher on for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. I mean, and in true Angel fashion, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't even talked about from what I understand, like as far as,
nope.
Even like you heard negotiations are happening, and then 2 hours later negotiations are done and you have a deal. That's, to me, talk about how fast that is.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, it did follow the Angels kind of protocol of like keeping it kind of under wraps, and things escalating really quickly. That's just kind of how they like to get things done, from GM to GM, that kind of hasn't changed. So it's definitely like an Artie Moreno type thing where he wants to keep things kind of quiet and not have the media or journalists maybe impact, the deal in some way, or, put out false numbers or false, agreements or whatever. So, yeah, super fast, got it done on opening day. So now he can kind of go out and play. Not that he was kind of, wondering where he was going to be in a couple of years, but it's nice to kind of lock in a nice contract like that on opening day. It's pretty ceremonial and pretty nice.
Gives fans something more to cheer about. Chris, when you saw the Fletcher extension, how'd you feel?
I was surprised. All of that. I just didn't see it come in and just show that they're really invested in, and just thinking about, all the trade rumors they had always that included Fletcher, and then just to kind of lock them up. It's exciting, and it just shows that they believe in the guy, and you got to feel good if you're David Fletcher to get that money right before opening day, on opening day. Yep. I mean, that's nice.
It's really nice. So now let's go to the rest of the bench players, and this is where I put Ohtani, just because I wasn't sure where to put him as far as or I would have put Ohtani out here, but obviously he's DHing and I'll have him in the rotation. But the bench players, obviously, Kurt Suzuki, catcher, Jared Walsh, Jose Rojas, one of those guys that, was a long shot, it seemed at the beginning of spring, but again, had a great spring, and Madden has rewarded him with a spot on the opening day roster. And like you mentioned earlier, Juan Lagares. So, Mike, you see these guys, you see the kind of depth they have behind them. How do you feel about the bench players?
Yeah, I think Rojas is an interesting piece here. We heard about, I at least heard about him probably last year. You guys probably heard about him sooner because you guys are more in touch with the minors. But yeah, I remember him having a huge year in AAA, I think last year or the year before. And I was like, oh, maybe we'll see him at some point. So nice to see him up. Lagares is obviously more known for his defense, but he really raked in spring training. So we'll see what he can do. I definitely like his defensive upside, though. Walsh, he had that nice August or September last season. We'll see if he can continue that. I don't think he hit particularly well in spring training, so we'll see what happens. I think Albert's getting the start over him tonight on opening day, so we'll see. And then Suzuki, just a kind of veteran presence, a guy that you kind of have on there to kind of help guide the pitching staff. Stassi will probably get the majority of the time, but Suzuki's just a nice veteran guy, former teammate of Rendon. So him and Rendon know each other from the Nationals. So, it's a decent bench, I would say.
And what about you, Chris? How you like the bench and how it all plays out?
No, it's going to be interesting to see what Walsh can do, if he can continue what he was, what he kind of ended the season doing. You got a veteran with Lagares, and I think Walsh isn't in the lineup tonight, just out of respect to Pujols, being that it's possibly his last season, according to his wife.
Right? Yeah.
But I think it's out of respect for Pujols. Man, if you really want to see how the season goes, I'm thinking Walsh is going to be out there the majority of the time for sure. And Suzuki, you know, just what he brings in and being a product of Cal State Fullerton, being home again, World Series champion. Heard a little bit of some interviews with him, and man, he's a guy that's really going to help the clubhouse.
Yeah. So again, now that's the bench guys. Now let's move forward to the starters and the bullpen. Obviously, the starters are Dylan Bundy tonight. We got Andrew Haney tomorrow, Cobb on Saturday, and Shohei on Sunday. After that, I believe it's going to be Jose Quintana and then Griffin Canning. I'm not that those two can flip. I'm not exactly sure if they nailed those two guys down, but we do know the first 4 guys in the Chicago series. And outside of those guys, you got bullpen. And the crazy part, this bullpen got reworked all in a matter of like 30, 35 hours. I mean, the only guy that's still there from last year is Mike Myers. That probably is going to be your 8th inning setup guy for fantasy purposes. I really hope so. I mean, you got Cishek, you got Junior Gara, you got, again, we mentioned Chris Rodriguez, a great story through spring. But, you know, Mike, talk about either one, starters or the bullpen, but what are you looking for?
Yeah, I've lost your audio there. But yeah, I'll go ahead and go forward. But yeah, the bullpen, I think, is something I'll focus on real quick. So yeah, I mean, I gotta applaud Perry really for kind of reconstructing this bullpen. The signings of Cishek and Watson, I think, were 2 nice kind of late pickups. I mean, these happened a couple of days ago, and now they're kind of on the opening day roster. But these are both 2 guys that are kind of journeyman guys, definitely like in their late stages of their career. I think they're both around 34, 35, respectively. Cishek, I think, had a drop off last year for the White Sox. I don't think he pitched particularly well, but both guys have a long track record of pitching really well. And it's been a while since the Angels have had a real kind of veteran kind of anchor. I remember in the 2014 season, they went and got his name escapes me now, but they got him from they got Street, and they also got the guy from the Pirates who was having a really good season in 2013. It's escaping me now. But anyways, they were, you know, it's been a while since they've had that kind of veteran guy that you can kind of count on to get outs. So I like those 2 pickups a lot. And I think, you know, Iglesias is going to be great. We'll see if Myers can kind of continue his pace from last season. And then obviously Chris Rodriguez is kind of the big story of spring. You know, he makes the team and he's going to contribute to the bullpen right away. And he's got electric stuff. You know, we know that very well. So yeah, this bullpen has been completely reshaped. I love that Perry has been aggressive in doing so. And I think that's it's a good, yeah, it looks good to me from the start.
How do you feel about this thing? How about this rotation and bullpen, Chris?
Man, like you said, it's crazy to think that Mike Myers is the only guy left, but after their performance last year, right. I get the urgency there. And so that left, you know, what was it, a couple of days ago when they brought in 3 guys, one with that minor league contract. And but Cishek, it's a name that's kind of a bigger name, veteran presence, but Rozelle Iglesias in the back end of it sounds, you know, I'm excited about that. The big surprise was Buttrey not being on the roster to begin the year. Yeah. That was like, I don't know. I think that might be the biggest surprise of all spring. Okay, and true. So I think we were talking a little bit about that. It's like what happened there. He was okay during spring, but you think a guy that's, you know, at least a 3-4 year veteran in the MLB would have that, you know, they would just let him, you know, ride into the season.
Well, that shows too that he's just not going to put you out there just to put you out there. You're still going to have to earn your spot, even though, like you mentioned, he's, you know, Ty's been a, you know, 3-4 year, you know, veteran for the most part. But if he doesn't perform to what they expect, they're going to change up, and that you know, shows a lot. Again, Chris Rodriguez, I'm really excited to see him. Ohtani's looked good, except for the, you know, you're trying to worry about the blister issue that he had out in LA. Does that worry you at all, Mike, the blister?
For Ohtani? Yeah, not too much. I think he said he caught it early, or he was glad that he caught it early. But in his previous spring start, I remember seeing him looking at it a little bit. And then in this Dodger start that he had a couple days ago, he ended up picking at it, and they ended up having to take him out. I was actually kind of relieved that might have been the reason why his command was so wild in that game. And and we'll see. I mean, he says he's going to be okay to start on Sunday against the White Sox. He has had blister issues in the past, but at least it's not something like a forearm strain or something to do with his arm. Yeah, ligament.
Worst case scenario.
So yeah, we'll see definitely, but yeah, not too concerned, I don't think.
So again, that's the Angels pitching arms coming into opening day, and obviously there's going to probably be a lot of movement this season with guys coming up and coming down. The huge influx of innings compared to last year is probably what's going to really test this team's depth, and hopefully they have enough guys to do it. I mean, you see guys got like Jaime Barea and and Sandoval, guys that are at the alternate site. They are I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to make some kind of appearance, and they're probably going to make a good amount of appearances this year. So we are going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we are going to have the Curator's Chronicles. So hold on, and we'll be right back after this.
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game, too.
It is a beautiful day for a ball game. It is opening day 2021. We have fans in the stands, and this is the Curator in Halo Haven, where it all started. Then it became a bus, and then it became tailgates. Now it's a podcast, but
more shenanigans.
Yeah, so it's good to be here with friends. With Daniel, we have Courtney in here. We have a friend on the way. He actually caught the friend that's joining us today. He actually caught Adam Kennedy's third home run in that 2002 AL. CS, trying to get him on the pod. But sometimes with baseball fandom, I think sometimes we want certain things that the team doesn't produce, or we want custom stuff. So in this edition of the Curator's Chronicles, features a bobblehead that is a Halo Haven bobblehead. We're going to move it towards the camera. And this was hand poured by me, the curator, over a summer. I said, hey, I'm going to start making some bobbleheads. So I got a mold off the internet, got a big jug of clay, and I started pouring that thing. And then the next challenge is like, how am I going to fire these things? So then had to find somebody with a kiln. So I made a run of 3 bobbleheads, had to hand paint them. Then I had to logo them. But it's the rarest Angels bobblehead, I would have to say, but hope to produce some other ones from maybe some, different things, different teams and things. But yeah, so curation is sometimes curating your own things. And we, just like all Archangel Pens started making stuff he would like to see the club make, but he's just made them on his own. It's kind of fun and just another side of fandom. But
absolutely. No, and that's fun too, to kind of do your own thing, design it the way you want. Obviously, you see the two-tone cap, something that we haven't seen in a long time. I'm wearing the game cap, the all red, and kind of like when we had our last guest on, Brian Crosby. He said he would love to have the two-tone cap, the two different colors, the navy and the red. And I think that's a great look for Angel headwear. What about you, Mike? You like the all red? You rather have the two-tone kind of thing going?
I got the 50th anniversary cap on right now, and I think this is like one of the better red caps with the gold halo. But yeah, otherwise I'm getting kind of bored of the red. Nice. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I would love to bring back the two-tone for sure. I got the two-tone California Angels shirt on, so definitely would love to have that back.
Yeah.
What I missed the most, and I didn't get to tell Brian Crosby the other day, is the road jersey having the city name, like the Anaheim. And I know it would people now if it said Los Angeles, they would lose their mind.
Exactly.
But how sweet would it be to say like California across the front of a jersey?
That'd be to me
that'd be beautiful.
Even more so than Anaheim. I would prefer it to say, maybe because I'm just I like the name California Angels better.
They've never done California across the jersey
Right,
when they were California Angels.
I would love it.
Man, that'd be sweet.
Yep. Agreed.
So that's another edition, opening day edition of the Curators Chronicles.
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game, too.
But next up, what we're going to do is a little seasonal under-overs. I talked to a lot of these numbers are from, if you listen to my interview with Fabian Ardaya of The Athletic and Rhett Bollinger at MLB.com, it's some of those same numbers that I asked them. I want to get your guys' opinions on. So the first one up is going to be Ohtani starts. Now, this can change a little bit now that with the blister issue. You're not sure how that's going to affect, if that's going to be lasting all season long. But Ohtani, 11.5 starts. Mike, I'll ask you first. Do you think that's under or over?
I think this is over. I think he's stronger this year. He's coming to camp a little bigger. And I think this is the year that he does it, hopefully. I don't think he's like a 32 start guy, 200 inning guy, but definitely I think, over 11 games, maybe 150 innings, 120 innings, something like that. But yeah, I think over 11 starts.
What about
11 games?
Do you think
that's an easy one. Over for sure. I'd say 20 starts at least.
Wow. I mean, 20 starts. If we get 20 starts out of Ohtani, I think that will definitely benefit the team because he's going to get 20 starts because of two reasons. A, he's healthy, and B, he's actually producing. So if he gets 20 starts, that's going to be a great number for the Angels. And obviously that means he is on some kind of a roll. So flipping it on Ohtani now, 24.5 home runs in the batter's box. I'll go to Chris first on this one. What do you think?
I'm going under.
You going under 25?
I'm going under. I'm going maybe like a 22 home run mark.
That's not a bad number. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I think in the first two seasons he hit like 21, 22, something like that. So I would love for him to hit 30 and like pitch 15 games or something. That'd be insane.
That'd be really nice, yeah.
But yeah, I see it like a 20, 21 homer season.
Yeah, definitely. I would, on the first one, I would definitely take the over. On this one, I want to take the over. I want him to get to that 25 home run mark. I truly think he can get it. And again, too, because if he's getting those starts up there, that means he's healthy. That means he's also batting. But yeah, I don't know. Just maybe his spring has kind of blinded me a little bit. But, you see some of those shots, and granted it's in Arizona, but I think some of those shots would have been gone in any stadium and in, any city regardless. So, next one, again, we talked about Dylan Bundy being today's starter. Dylan Bundy's win total, 16.5. And granted, wins aren't the best barometer for pitchers. I get it. But with this guy and the fact that he loves to go deep into games, the fact that he loves to just grind it out there, and he's, as of right now, kind of your top guy. Mike, what do you think? Where do you think his win total is going to be this year?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. It's been a while since we've had an Angel pitcher win 17 games. I'm trying to even think of who it would be.
Really?
That's a surprise. I think CJ had 17 one year, which people forget.
Might have been like his first year, because I know his first 2 years with the Angels were really good, and then he kind of fell off after that.
I'm gonna go under. I would say he maybe wins like 13 games, like 12 or 13 games. I think it's more along those lines. 16.5. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna say under.
What about you, Chris? Do you think he's getting?
Yeah, I'm 17? Under on that one. I'm thinking like 14.5.
Well,
is that possible? I mean, you're saying 16.5.
Well, that's just so you can't say, oh, look, he's gonna get
they took him out like in the middle of the fourth, and he got a no decision.
That's a new sabermetric, a half a win.
Give him the half.
There you go. Yeah. I kind of hope it's under, but I mean, I not gonna hope. I hope it's over, but I think it's gonna be under. I think he's gonna get that 16 win mark. Like I mentioned, he's a horse. He loves to be out there. He loves to pitch long into games. The thing that is going to hurt him, that I think, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree, is that 6-man rotation. He's just not going to get as many times through through the rotation as a normal 5-man rotation would, and that would probably hurt him for that fact. But if he gets a 16 game, or if he wins 16 games this year for the Angels, I think that's more than enough to, in my opinion, get an extension. And he's one of those guys that's up at the end of the year. How do you feel, Mike, about Bundy? If he performs well, the Angels offer him an extension at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think they would be kind of crazy not to if he performs as well as he did last season. If he has an ERA around 3.5 or even high 3s and he pitches well, gives us a bunch of innings, I think you have to extend him. I don't know what that extension looks like. It'll be interesting to see what that would look like. And if there's other teams that might give him a more lucrative deal in free agency, but he's still really young. And if he pitches well again, if he pitches well again this season, I think the Angels should definitely try to extend him.
Yeah, and I believe so too. And just the pitching free agent market as of right now doesn't look great. You have a lot of names that are going to be free agents, but they're all older names like the Verlanders and I believe Greinke's, and like those guys, Kershaw's. I mean, they're names, but at what point do they stop being a name and just realize, hey, they're at the end of their career? So Bundy might see that as an opportunity and test the market. And as an Angel fan, I hope that if he is doing well, that they don't even let him get to that point and they somehow work out an extension with him. So we went from the pitching side. Now let's go to our pretty much short of a Lord and Savior, Mike Trout, 42.5 home runs this year. Mike, what do you think he's going to get?
Oh, I'm gonna say over. I mean, I can't gush enough about Trout. What I really want out of Trout, and what I really feel like is the one thing that's like missing from one of his seasons is like the 50 home run season that people like Ryan Howard and Prince Fielder and stuff kind of achieved a few years ago. But I would like to get him to like 45. I think he gets close to 45. So I think he's just over 42.5. I'm gonna go over.
What about you, Chris? Where do you think his home run total is going to be this year?
Yeah, it's over 42.5 for sure. I think he was disappointed with his effort last year. I think most people, if you were top 5 MVP voting, you'd be pretty happy with that. Yeah. He's pretty mad. Yeah. And I think he's going to come out with a vengeance. He has the big contract. Nothing to worry about right there. Full season. I think, yeah, definitely. Especially with that right field, fence being shorter for another year. I mean, just Oppo all day. Like, yeah, he's got it for sure. And yeah, like Mike said, that's that one thing that Trout really hasn't hit, that 50 home run mark. All the greats have hit it, like a Mays or, a Mantle or a Ruth.
Right. Yeah.
Bonds,
quote unquote. But yeah, but no, I really hope so too, because Trout, and it's crazy to hear him say this because he is such a great player, but how he was disappointed and he didn't have a good year, and he was kind of just disappointed in himself last year, not only on the offensive side but the defensive side. He was saying he wasn't able to take the right jumps out of the outfield, and he really worked on that. And to hear a guy like Trout, who, I don't care what people say, he's the best player in baseball. A lot of people want to kind of crown the next guy, but I still think that is Trout, and I still think for him to sit there and be like, I need to be better is crazy, because if he is better, I mean, I don't know what else he can be better at. But like I said, he's the man. He's the guy that Angel fans are going to go see. And as for me and my wife, we will see him tomorrow.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
So we are now going into Mr. Moneybags over here. David Fletcher, over under 300 this year, batting average. Mike, I'll ask you first. Where's his average finish at?
Yeah, I think he hit 319 last year in that shortened season. So I definitely, he's over for me. I think he probably finishes somewhere like 306, 307. I don't think he hits 320, but I think he's over. Yeah.
What about you, Chris? Do you think? And like Mike said, he hit over 300 last year, but that was in a short season. You don't know how it's going to play out completely in a full season. You can get in a bad slump for a period of time and go dip under, and it's really hard to get back over. So what do you think, over 300 or under 300 for David Fletcher?
Man, just kind of listening to your interview with Rhett and Fabian. It's like, when does those little dinks to right field, how he dumps the ball out there, like, is that is that luck or is that just, you know,
him being who he is? Yeah.
But what does that run out, or is that just a skill set? And right now it's actually looking like it's a skill. It's like almost like a trick shot or something. And if he can continue to do that, that's the difference between being a 290 and a 305 hitter.
Right.
And
exactly. Those little ones.
I mean, just looking at spring training, he's blooping them out. But I don't know, like, how does he react to having that big contract? You know, it's no Trout contract, but still, it's big money for him. He went from a rookie contract, and I don't even know what he was making last year, but it wasn't that.
No,
so the pressure there, but he's a down to earth kid, and he kind of embodies that 2002 kind of mentality. So,
well, that's what people love about him, is just that he's that kind of guy that's awkward with the media. He's that kind of guy that's just keeps to himself and just grinds out every at bat, grinds out every ground ball, if you will. So I'm rooting for him. I hope he gets over 300. It's just so hard nowadays with teams playing, shifts and getting so many numbers about where guys are putting the balls. But yeah, if he's able to kind of get those bloops and get those beat out those infield single kind of types of hits, he's going to get 300. And so if I had to make a bet, I would say he would go over on 300. So the next one of the newest additions to the Angels, Rozelle Iglesias, presuming he is going to be the closer for the Angels, which a lot of people have, and maybe we'll find out tonight if he's that ninth inning guy. But I have him at 32.5 saves this year. Mike, where do you think he finishes with the saves?
I think he gets to 30. So I'm going to go under on this one. Just kind of like trying to think about the Angels win total and kind of how the season is going to go. I think he probably sits around 29 to 30 saves. So I'm going to go under.
What about you, Chris? Where do you think? 32.5 or under?
I'm going over. Brian Fuentes. If you guys remember Brian Fuentes, if he could get like, I think he had like almost like 45, 50 saves, throwing like he was throwing darts, like 89 miles an hour. If he could do that, Rozelle Iglesias can get over 32.5.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this team is good enough to be in a lot of games, be winning a lot of games. I'm just not sure if they're good enough to be blowing guys out by like 4 or 5 runs to where the save opportunity doesn't occur. I think they're going to be in a lot of close games this year, like a 2-3 run kind of games, and that save opportunity I think is going to be there quite a bit. So I'm going to take the over.
And then you think about how many saves we blew last year,
exactly,
right? And then the saves we actually got.
Yeah,
you add those together, times that by
you can double it. Yeah, it'd be easy to double it,
right?
Yeah.
So I feel like
I like I said, I think this team's going to be in a lot of games. They're going to win a lot of games, but I think those guys are going to be, or those games are going to be, 2-run games, 1-run games, 3-run games. There's not going to be a lot of 5, 6, 7-run games where the save doesn't matter. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities this year to save the games, and hopefully, kind of like what Chris said, hopefully he converts them way more than happened last year. So that concludes our under over, but we're still going to do kind of a little bit of a preview. But now we're going to go around the National League first and kind of get people's thoughts, or your thoughts, Mike and myself. Chris is like, I'm a West Coast guy.
I'll leave this to the pros.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm American League West, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So
I want to step off to go sit in one of these stadium seats across from
us. Maybe grab a beer and pour it for himself. But
thanks, Mike.
Yeah. So National League, what do you think about that? I mean, that division seems so. I'm looking at, obviously, about the teams in front of us. That team has so many teams in it that can be competitive. Like if the Mets win, you wouldn't be surprised. If the Braves won, you wouldn't be surprised. If the Washington won, you wouldn't be surprised. But who do you think wins the NL West or NL East? Sorry.
I probably have the Braves again. I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting that the Braves were like a win away from going to the World Series last season. And, they've added more depth to that rotation of young arms that's already really promising. They added Charlie Morton. They added Drew Smyly. I think Acuna is in for kind of an MVP type season this year. Of course, the Mets added Lindor, and they added Trevor May to the bullpen, James McCann as the backstop. But I like the Braves a lot. I think a lot of people are kind of like almost underestimating the Braves. And right. So I got the Braves in the East.
Yeah, I think the Braves also. I mean, their lineup is going to be awesome. If they get some of those young pitchers back from injury, they can easily make a run for that. Mets are going to be in the play. Washington's going to be in play, especially if Bell and
Schwarber.
Schwarber, there it is. I'm gonna call him Scherzer. Schwarber, can produce offensively. That's gonna be a huge lift for them. But as of right now, I'm gonna take Atlanta to win that division. So moving to the Central, a lot of teams didn't make a whole lot of moves, including the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates. So to me, it seems like a 2-team race: the Cardinals and the Brewers. Which team are you leaning to take the Central?
Yeah, I know the Cardinals are kind of like the sexy pick right now, but I actually like the Brewers a lot. I like the move of Colton Wong to kind of shore up their defense. And then speaking of shoring up their defense, they also got Jackie Bradley Jr. So they have Lorenzo Cain back and healthy again. We'll see if Christian Yelich can kind of regain his output from 2019. He had kind of a down year last season, but the only thing with the Brewers is always that starting rotation. I always wonder where they get the innings from for that. But they got Hader at the back end of the bullpen. I think they had the Rookie of the Year in the bullpen last season too. So the Cardinals are going to be good. They have a lot of rotation questions. I think they're going to rest on Jack Flaherty a lot to kind of be their ace. But outside of him, it's a little spotty to me. You got guys like Carpenter that are aging. They got a young outfield. But yeah, I like the Brewers kind of overall in that division, which is really kind of a flip of a coin. I mean, if you told me that the Cubs end up winning the division, I'd be very shocked, but I wouldn't be the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'm taking the Brewers also. And granted, with the move with Arenado going to St. Louis, that is a sexy pick. You got Goldschmidt. Maybe that helps Goldschmidt's production and his numbers now all of a sudden go up. But the Brewers are just, to me, are the Oakland A's of that Central Division where they don't have the sexy name outside of like Yelich really and like Hader. But other than that, they don't have like a sexy name that resonates like all the way over here on the East Coast or West Coast where you're like, oh, I know that guy. So I would love for the Brewers to win. I think that's always fun when like kind of like an underdog team, because the Blue Bloods in that division are the Cubs and the Cardinals. So when a team like Milwaukee comes in and wins a division, I think it's a lot of fun for baseball when it's competitive with them in the mix.
Yeah.
So now we go to the West, and obviously this seems like a 2-team race, and you can even say this 2 teams are in the NL, and everyone else. So Dodgers, Padres, obviously are the class of the division because of the moves they made this offseason and just kind of whatever they already had bringing back. But who do you have coming out of the NL West?
I have the Dodgers. I think they are far and away kind of the best team in the entire league. I think the Dodgers could easily rattle off like 108, 109 wins this season.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if they stay healthy, they're World Series champs. They obviously added Trevor Bauer. The bullpen still looks really good. They have an embarrassing amount of depth at the starting rotation. I think David Price is starting the year in the bullpen, which is crazy. Angels could use a little bit of David Price right now, but yeah. I have the Dodgers winning that division.
You know what? Just for the simple fact that the Dodgers are the Dodgers, and even though Chris makes fun of me all the time, San Diego is my NL team. As he grunts in the background, I don't know if the mic were able to pick that up I heard that. Because that was pretty loud. I am picking the San Diego Padres to upset the Dodgers and take the NL West. I honestly think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like the Padres 105 and the Dodgers 104 kind of. I think honestly, even though the Dodgers lost to Colorado today, which was kind of surprising, I think both teams are gonna absolutely beat up on the Giants, the Rockies, and Diamondbacks. Like I just feel that. So I'm gonna pick San Diego by a game, but still I'm gonna pick San Diego to take the West. And even though that drives Chris crazy because they are my NL team, still I'm gonna take the Padres. So
there we go.
Moving into the AL, we are going to talk about the East first. I think obviously the Yankees are probably the prohibitive favorite, but where do you go with the AL West or East? Sorry.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the Yankees as well. I think they lost an extra innings today to the Blue Jays, but the Yankees, the lineup when healthy is one of the best in baseball. They have Garrett Cole at the top of the rotation. I think there's a lot of questions about some of their other rotation pieces like Corey Kluber and Jameson Taillon that they got from the Pirates in terms of staying healthy and giving them enough innings. But I think overall, I think it's the Yankees division to win. The Rays took a step back. The Red Sox are kind of in a limbo stage. They're kind of, you know, trading away pieces, bringing back kind of cost-effective pieces. Blue Jays look really good on paper, but I think that rotation is going to be pretty limiting to them and their success. They probably need another piece. Hyun-Jin Ryu looked really good in his start today against the Yankees, but yeah, they need another starter or two. And the Orioles are in rebuilding mode, so
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the Yankees. The Rays are going to Ray too. I mean, they could easily
Rays
surprise.
Are Ray. I like that.
They could easily surprise some people too. But yeah, I got the Yankees.
Yeah, me too. I think the Yankees are going to win that division fairly easily, even with the Rays possibly being close. And same thing with the Blue Jays. I just think when it's all said and done, I think the Yankees are really desperate to win another championship. It's been so long since they've won that come down to trade deadline. Even if they're in the division if they control that division, I still think at trade deadline, they're going to make some kind of a move, whether it's a pitching arm or something. I just can't see them holding pat, even if with a fairly good lead in that division. So I'm going to pick definitely the Yankees for the East. So now moving to the Central, we got tonight's opponent, this weekend's opponent, the White Sox, but you also have the Twins, and those two seem to be the top two teams in the Central. So who do you have?
I like the White Sox. I know they're kind of the sexy pick right now. They really shored up their bullpen and their rotation. They picked up Liam Hendricks and Lance Lynn for the rotation. We'll see if Dallas Keuchel can kind of continue his streak. He's been really good the last couple of years and kind of continue to be good without kind of overpowering stuff. So he's kind of a tricky guy. And then Lucas Giolito, he's probably my pick for the Cy Young this year.
Angels tonight against the Angels too.
Yep, Angels are facing him tonight. I think he's going to do well tonight, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, the Sox are really good. Even I think without Eloy Jimenez, they brought up one of their top prospects in Andrew Vaughn, who's like a big slugger. I think he's going to kind of fill the shoes of Jimenez for a little bit. The lineup is really good. A lot of young talent. Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada. I don't know if it's Robert or Robert.
Yeah, I heard two different times. Way too. So yeah.
Yeah. So whatever. But yeah, they got a good lineup. The rotation's solid. The bullpen's solid. I like the Indians a lot still, even without Lindor. That rotation is really good. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the Indians end up in second place and the Twins end up in third. I like the Twins, but I don't know. I don't know. I like Josh Donaldson still. I like a lot of their hitters. Max Kepler's a nice piece in right field, but Jose Barrios hasn't really taken off as a kind of a true ace yet. They got Kenan Maeda. I wonder about their rotation, and they have Hansel Robles too in that bullpen now.
Is that where he went? Okay, my wife asked me about that. Where'd he go? I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, so I'm a little nervous for their fan base for that for sure.
Right. But he's an ex-Angel, so he'll probably do all right.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I got the White Sox.
Yeah, I agree too. The White Sox, I think, are going to win the division. And kind of like what you mentioned, when you pitch like the way Cleveland can with some of their guys, Shane Bieber, you're always going to have a shot. You know, it might be a lot of 3-2 losses, but those pitchers are going to keep you in games. So the second place for them, I don't think is, crazy, but you definitely everywhere you read, you see Sox and Twins kind of battle out. But I'm going to go Sox 1 and Twins 2 with Cleveland not too far away. But yeah, I think Sox is definitely the favorite in that division. So now we move to the AL West, obviously with the Angels in it. So before we go kind of talk about it, I want to get your opinion. Whoever wins the West, what is their win total this year?
I'm going to say like 91, 92 wins. I don't think it's like anything over 95 this season. I think the Astros are coming back to the pack a little bit. The A's, in the beginning of the offseason, I looked at the Oakland A's and I was like, man, they haven't made any moves. But then they traded Chris Davis. They traded for Elvis Andrus. And then they added to their bullpen kind of in very sneaky ways. They got Rosenthal. I think they signed Sergio Romo as well. So they have this bullpen where I know the A's bullpen is going to be legit again this season. I don't know how, but I know it will. And if they get contributions from like AJ Puck, who's one of their pitching prospects, and Luzardo and Frankie Montas bounces back, I think the A's will be fine. So yeah, I would say like 92, 93 wins, I think wins the division.
What about you, Chris? How many, now that you made your triumphant return talking about the AL West?
He's back.
Yeah, he's back now. How many wins, doesn't matter what team, how many wins do you think it will take to win the AL West this year?
AL West, one of the weakest divisions in baseball. I
don't know. You look at the Central. Besides, some of those guys. I don't know.
I get it.
NL Central too.
We're looking like maybe 94 tops. The Angels that 1 year, 2014. I sent you a picture of all those 2014 brand new division champion hats today. And I think, what did we have that year? Did we top 100? We had best record in baseball.
It was 100,
nowhere close to that. I think we had 94. Like, if you're like absolute ceiling to win the division. Yeah,
94 sounds about right. A lot of people that I asked, the beat writers and just people that cover the other teams, agree. I was hearing from something as small or as low as like 92 to like 95. So I think anywhere in that 3-game range, I think that's what it's going to take to win the West. And obviously, this is our prediction because of opening day, obviously. So I am going to go to Mike first. Angels record will be this year what?
I think they win 86 games this year. I'm not sure what 86 minus 162 is, but 86 wins.
Does that get them into the wild card then?
Oh man, I think they sniff a wild card. I think it ends up being like a 2015 situation where they like picked up a bunch of different guys. I think they had like David DeJesus at the end of that season, and David
pulling David DeJesus out, man. Jesus.
Yeah, they brought him. They brought the flying Hawaiian Shane Victorino, but I think they sniffed the playoffs in 2015. I think this is going to be a very similar season to 2015, where like they're good, but they missed the playoffs by like a half a game. I think they're very close, but not yet.
Okay, Chris, what is the win total for the Angels this year in 2021?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be a homer as always, and I got to say like maybe 90 wins.
90 wins.
There we go.
Or does that
when you have a payroll that's like top 5, if you can't get 90 wins, I don't know what you're doing.
Does that make the playoffs then? Because you already said that the division is going to take like 94, 93, but so is 90 enough to get into the wild card?
A wild card, yeah.
You're
not going to win the division. But,
and obviously now we're real close to the opening day on the West Coast. So by now, if we were going to have those extended playoffs we did last year, it would already came out. So now you're talking about just 2 playoff spots or wild card spots. So that's definitely going to hurt the Angels this year, because I am like Chris. I think they break the 90 win total, but at the end of the year, I think they win 90 games, but I think they're like 3 games out of the wild card. I just don't think, I think they have a better chance of winning the division than the wild card, just because with the wild card, you got to compete with, the Twins. You got to compete with the Blue Jays. You got to compete with, even the Rays, even too, or even just people in your division, the A's and the Astros. So I'm going to say 90 wins and about 2 games out of the wild card spot. But the good thing is, if we're all wrong, we don't have to replay this at all. And if one of us is right, we can chop it up and then post it, in October and be like, you know what, we got this one right. So yep. I would say time will tell, but if we're all wrong, time won't tell because we won't post this. So it's okay. So we'll see how that is. But either way, I think the Angels have a good squad. And I want to ask you this about Mike. I think the Angels, more so out of any other team in baseball, has the biggest variance. So like, if I were to tell you at the end of the year, the Angels were going to go like win 82 games, I don't think a lot of people would be surprised because of the depth issues. But at the same time, if I were to tell you at the end of the season, they win 95 games and win the division, I don't think that would surprise a lot of people too, because they stayed healthy. Ohtani had a great year. Mike Trout had a Mike Trout year. Rendon had a Rendon year. Can you think of any other team in baseball that would have that big of a gap where it's totally possible this guy, or they would have this record or that record?
No, yeah, I mean, it could really swing like very drastically either direction. If you told me 82 wins, I'd be like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Or if you said like 94, I'd say, oh, that seems a little high. But yeah, I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Because when I look at this Angels team, honestly, it's one of the more talented Angels teams I can remember. I mean, right. You got Mike Trout, you got the maybe not, well, definitely talented, but the potential of this team, I think, definitely ranks up there with Angels squads, you know, from previous years that were division winners, you know. So yeah, it's hard to say, but yeah, definitely a lot of variance for this team. It's all going to come down to the rotation, obviously.
Health, health. I think more so than a lot of contending teams, it's gonna affect the Angels because I don't think they have a lot of depth in those, you know, minor league guys. Like, you know, Adele, is he going to be ready if someone gets hurt in the first month? You know, pitching wise, how is Sandoval and Brea going to handle it if they need to make spot starts in first couple months? Like, I think that's going to really be an issue with the Angels if they need to start pulling guys from the minor league baseball and make serious contributions. That might hurt, but if the spot starts here and there, I think they'll be fine. But if it's an issue where they have to make, you know, starts for the rest of the year and they rush, say, Reed Detmers up, that can be a real issue. But Chris, how do you feel about the Angels? Like, you know, like I mentioned, the variance of what their record could be. Does that sound about right, or do you think
Daniel, like right behind you, you'll see a lineup card. This is actually a game used lineup card on the door, and it's from 2011. My eyes kind of suck right now, but I'm gonna read you this lineup.
Old.
Is Turris, Abreu, Hunter, Wells, Hendrick, Trumbo, Ibar, Borges, Wilson, and Santana on the mound. Do you think our team is better than that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
And you in the bullpen, you had Ramirez, Downs, Takahashi, Bobby Cassava, Rich Thompson. I can't even read that one.
Yeah, Social doesn't have the greatest.
Oh, Rodney. We had Rodney and we had Jordan Walden, who I thought was going to be like a perennial all-star with that little jump throwing off the mound, 97-mile-an-hour pitch. Where's Walden now? I don't know.
Exactly.
Anyways, I felt pretty good about the squad. Probably, like Mike said, more so than, you know, I don't know, probably dating back to like 09 or 08, like those teams that had a run for sure.
So again, I want to thank everyone for watching on YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter, Facebook, all that, especially the giveaway participation was great. So kind of like moving forward now to something else that me and Chris have done, and Johnny when he was here, the Tyler Skaggs Foundation this year. We wanted to try to find a way to donate to the Tyler Skaggs Foundation again this year, kind of have like a counting total of something this year. And obviously, financially, we can't do strikeouts for 162 games because that's a lot of strikeouts.
Come on, step on up, man.
So I talked to Carly. I asked her what are her two favorite pitchers or two pitchers that she still is in somewhat contact with, or you know, she talks to. So one of them obviously was Andrew Haney, and the other one was the way she put it is like Tyler always loved Felix Pena. Now, unfortunately, he's on the IL to start the season, but it doesn't seem to be a serious issue, and it doesn't seem to be like something that's going to linger on for a long period of time. So I came up with an idea. Those are going to be our two horses this year. We'll take the strikeout total from Andrew Heaney. We'll take out the strikeout total from Felix Pena if he's healthy throughout the year for both guys. And we'll ride those guys. Whatever the strikeout total is for the year, again, 162 games. We'll see what it is. And that will be a donation for the Tyler Skaggs Foundation. If these guys get injured or have to miss significant time, one or the other, then we can, you know, we'll talk to Carly and we'll put our, we'll ride another horse. But that's kind of what we're going to do this year. The first two guys out of the gate are going to be Andrew Haney, obviously, because if you know the story between Andrew Haney and Tyler, they were super close. And in the words of Carly Skaggs, Tyler loved Felix Pena and loved his energy. And so we're going to put our betting on those guys, and we're going to have a strikeout total for those two. And as the season goes, you know, obviously the more strikeouts, the more money we donate. And, you know, I think that's something that was really, really awesome. Me, Chris, Johnny, we all loved going out to the mural and giving that giant check to Carly. And, you know, hopefully that's something we can do yearly now. So, yeah, those are our two guys, Andrew Haney and Felix Pena. Chris, you got any thoughts?
No, I just love being a part of such a great cause, meeting with Carly in front of the mural. It was such a hard thing, but it was just such a thing that I was blessed to be part of, and just to do it again and to make it a yearly tradition, and maybe to even do even more this year. I hope so. And even, you know, looking at how John, who would have known back in October that he would join.
Yeah,
Tyler.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of we're doing it for two different reasons now, Tyler and John.
It's gonna be different this year for sure. Happy to be part of it and for a good cause for sure.
Definitely. So those are our guys. So we'll be posting on our social media feeds and even through the podcast. We'll keep you guys updated as far as where the count total is and where that means for us in the Tyler Skaggs Foundation. And if you ever want to donate, again, $5, $2, $10, whatever, TylerSkaggsFoundation.org, or if you go to our bio in our Instagram or our Twitter, click the link and it'll set you up right there too. So either way works perfectly. So again, we're at 7:01. We got 4 minutes until first pitch. I am excited, and I want to thank Mike Browne again from the Big League Chewing podcast for jumping on and just going on this little ride with us for opening day and giving his thoughts about not only Angels baseball, but kind of like obviously what we did with the with the division. So, Mike, shout out your podcast and anything else you got going on.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for having me. Always a fun time here talking Halos with you guys. Yeah, we just wrapped up some season previews with a few different teams. Podcast is going to be rolling pretty hard into the regular season now. You can follow me at ChewingCast on Twitter, and you can find the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and again, he does a great job previewing other teams, and now with the season going on and the full 162 games, he'll have you covered for any of the big news coming out, and then hopefully, if the Angels make some splashes, I'll be jumping on there too. But we'll see how we'll see how the Angels do this year, and hopefully they are in contention. So I can't thank you guys enough. Opening day, we're finally here. We'll be back Sunday night. Again, we're going to try to do one. I'm going to try to put at least one out after every series. So Sunday night after the end of Sunday Night Baseball, look out for us on here on streaming on our YouTube, on our Twitter, on our Facebook, and then obviously coming out that same night with the podcast. Then we got 2 against Houston after that. Try to put another podcast out after that. So every time a series ends, look for another podcast, and you can always reach us at the All Angels Podcast at gmail.com. We'll start taking more and more questions there. Now that the season's going, you see something during a game or during a series, you want to ask a question, reach out to us. Again, All Angels Podcast at gmail.com is the easiest way to reach out to us and get your questions read on the podcast. So I am Dallin Garcia. That is.
I am Chris Curator Johnson. Hobie Milder is not on the Angels. He's not pitching tonight, so he cannot give up that grand slam to end the game on opening day. So we're looking good.
Yeah. And then obviously that is Mike Browne of the Big League Chewing podcast. We want to thank all you guys for spending some time with us. First pitch is right around the corner. I cannot wait. And we will see you probably at a ballpark sooner or later. So if you see one of us, go ahead and give us a wave, give us a hi. And if you want to buy me a beer, I wouldn't be opposed to that either. So we will talk to you on Sunday. Have a great night and go Halos.